And so what I was just able to do as a child, which is very common, is to, I call it split my mind, and I split into what I call a day child and a night child.
Gathered together in our game room, I'd like to have you meet the 5 women in my life.
Desert silvery blue beneath the pale moonlight, coyote and lazy on the hill.
We were the most beautiful family. 4 daughters, all 2 years apart. I was the youngest. You couldn't possibly, in your wildest imagination, imagine my father sneaking down to my bedroom for 13 years and turning the doorknob. It's inconceivable. My life shut down completely when I was 45. From 45 to 51, I just laid on the floor and sobbed. And the vivid memories and feelings came back. I was hospitalized, locked in a psychiatric ward. My body was in complete paralysis. I couldn't move my arms or my legs. Had no idea incest was doing this. Had no idea. I mean, who could have believed that incest would cause physical paralysis? My father was my role model, and I did adore him, and I did love him. What happened to me, he started coming into my room when I was 5, until I was 18. And the one thing that I knew as a child is that there was no hope for me of it stopping. And as I look back, I was right. There was not one person who would have been able to help me. And so as a survival tool, I dissociated. I call it split. What happens to a child who is traumatized and terrorized, if you know that it's going to keep happening, there's no way you can go to school and get A's and play marbles and play tag and ride your bike home and be a happy child if you know what's waiting for you and that you have no power to stop that. And so what I was just able to do as a child, which is very common, is to, I call it split my mind, and I split into what I call a day child and a night child. And it's very real to me. I don't remember this, but I believe it happened. I believe that somewhere in my mind, as a young child, I said, okay, you stay in the room, and you take what you have to take, and I'll go out, and I'll be very successful, and when I'm free and successful, I'll come back and get you and save you. And I believe I struck a deal. So I did. I went out and I was successful in everything I tried. I graduated with Phi Beta Kappa honors from college. I was on the ski team. I was in the modern choir. I was homecoming queen. I was Miss America. I was named the outstanding woman speaker. I mean, everything I tried, I was just successful, successful, successful. The problem is that I didn't want to go back and get her. I hated and loathed and despised her more than anyone I could ever dislike. I wanted her to go away. And instead of going back and welcoming her into my life, I wanted her dead. And I think that my recovery would not have been as difficult as it was if I had been able to have compassion for the child I call the night child. And because I could not have compassion for her, and because I didn't want her ever to be in my life or ever acknowledge her, she played havoc with me. And I do believe that. I believe she's the one. I think I characterize it as a child going in and saying, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy," and the mother said, "I'm busy now, I'm busy now." And the child goes back in and says, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy," and pulls on her dress, and she says, "I'm busy now." So the child goes and takes the best piece of crystal she can find and crashes it on the floor. Now she has her mother's attention. And this is what began to happen to me as an adult. When I was 39, I went into physical paralysis and was unable to move. My head would work, but my body wouldn't work. And I was hospitalized for the better part of 3 months in 3 different hospitals. I went to the Mayo Clinic, and they said, "We can find nothing wrong with you." And I had paralysis spells for 11 years, from age 39 to 51. And finally, I didn't know what else to do, so finally at age 40 I went into therapy. And I began to start dealing with what had happened to me from age 5 to age 18.